Blumenthal.
Thanks, Madam Chairman. First of all, thank you and Ranking Member Lee for the last 2 years of really remarkable leadership on this panel. We've had tremendously valuable hearings and a lot of insight, and I'm hoping that we will all continue working together in a very bipartisan way, as we have done on many of these issues. Ms. Cooley, thank you for all your great work. I was Attorney General until about 2010. You were overlapping during part of that time, and some of the most productive and valuable work done by Attorney General offices is in the antitrust area, and you've been a leader. Your office has worked cooperatively with Connecticut, so thank you for all you've done. How would you assess the general work now of Attorney General offices? Are they continuing to be a vital force in antitrust enforcement?
I think absolutely. We're seeing a revolution of attention to state antitrust enforcement, not only in State Attorney General's office, but also in state legislatures. We're seeing state AG shops expand in antitrust. We're seeing funding for these groups in bipartisan fashion. We see it in Minnesota, we see it in Tennessee, we've seen it in Indiana and Utah and other states. So yeah, I think it's really improving.
It is really important for the public to understand that state enforcers can do antitrust cases. We have that power to enforce federal law, and the appetite for antitrust varies at the federal level from administration to administration, whether it's Republican or Democrat, but state enforcers can be a constant there. So I think that's very important. Mr. Newman, you make, I think, a very important point about the zero price markets issue. And I ran into this issue when I led the states, a coalition of states, in an antitrust action against Microsoft. And I was very proud. I was really enthusiastic, and we brought the lawsuit. We filed it in Washington, D.C. We enlisted the antitrust division to come along with us. I went home, and people were saying to me, "Why did you sue Microsoft? It's free. You know, why are you threatening this company that charges us nothing?" And I think it's very hard to convey how antitrust can have an impact, or more precisely, lack of competition can have an impact in denying access to markets, in squelching innovation, all the negatives that can result. And we know, for example, that that Google and Apple now dominate the mobile markets. I don't have time, and I don't know that there's interest for me to go into a long description of why that's bad, but I do think that our antitrust laws have an application there for the benefit of consumers. And last session of Congress, Senator Blackburn and I introduced the Open App Markets Act, which would set fair, clear, enforceable rules to protect competition and strengthen consumer protection within the mobile marketplace, where right now Google and Apple have such a stranglehold. We're going to introduce that measure again, the Open App Markets Act, which would set rules also to open new competition for alternative markets, like interoperability requirements and opportunities for app developers to offer lower prices to consumers. By the way, the measure was very bipartisan. In addition to Senator Blackburn, it was co-sponsored by Senators Graham, Durbin, Senator Klobuchar, and other members of this committee. My question for you is, do you share the assessment about what role upfront rules like the Open App Markets Act or Senator Lee's America Act could play in restoring more vibrant competition and consumer protections in digital markets?
Well, yes, I think absolutely legislation has an important role to play here. Antitrust law enforcement is a really powerful tool, but it is law enforcement. As such, it tends to be slow. It tends to involve a single case. And when you've got something like an app ecosystem, the significance of all the conduct on all the developers for the American people, I think demands, in this case, a pretty broad approach. And just to take one example, one of the things that jumps out to me from the bill is the requirement that a powerful app store operator can't prevent a developer from truthfully communicating price information to their own users. I think that's a no-nonsense, just slam dunk, right? I think there are some other things in the bill that I think would do some good as well. But yeah, I think there's just a lot in there that could solve some serious problems here.
Thank you. I'm out of time, but I look forward to continuing this work in the upcoming session and working with all of you and our leaders. Thank you.
Senator Hawley, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks to Senator Lee for calling this hearing.